And last time, we, well, we figured out Class A was lying to us. We told goddamn Drama to wake the fuck up. And he did, which is good. So, what we're going to do is send Kim off to dispose of the body. You know what I mean. And we're going to go talk to Joyce about things and reality. It just seems like a very important thing to do. And we'll deal with the window and Titus the next day. And all the meanwhile, we'll be able to also... It'll be Wednesday. So the new area will be unlocked because the waterlock will be fixed. What new area? Oh shit, god damn. Well, this is a... They certainly outdone themselves this time. The fisherman shacks, the church. Wow, they really went hard on this, Huh. It's not exactly the, best, view. Definitely a tourist type of look. Looks like they was gonna make a patio, but, you know, it's all pretty much exactly what you'd think. Huh. Anyway. Eventually we go to the left side. But first we got things to do. Got things to do, shit to see. Clash A should be still here on the Wednesday. I don't think she disappears until... Well, I'm not too entirely certain. And was that kind of a spoiler? Maybe. But she's ran from shit before. Why will she not run from shit again? Into the basement? The basement that's dark and cold with a giant bear. Giant bear fridge! Pick dialogue options that don't exist. Excuse me, bear. I require your contents.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red. It's guarding over the freezing corpse hidden inside its belly.
Let's pack him, Kim. Take him away.
All right.
Takes out a shiny black body bag and starts pulling the plastic over the dead man's face.
I can drive him to processing today, no problem, since we stalled with this. But this does mean I will be gone for the rest of the day.
You'll be gone? What should I do in the meanwhile?
Work on the case, tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs.
Bag it and drag it. And with Kim gone, Joyce will be able to entertain all of our questions without any interference. Fuck brain. I swear, it's like at least once every hour that my brain trips up and I end up swapping words and sounds and shit. We're so zoomed out. And no one is here. Everyone is gone. Running, running, running. I'm running like a fool. Running, running, running. Where is my tool? I don't need much in an empire. It's like super huge, ain't it? Yeah, it's a 6. It's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. Yo, Joyce! Joyce!
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Yeah, so
I've got some more questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what?
For the big time.
Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth.
What's the big time?
The revolution.
And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head.
She's not gloating. It's a relieved celebration.
Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Did the communists and anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Truly a kerfuffle.
Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it.
I had a deluge too, in my head.
Yes, an acute thiamine deficiency can be exacerbated by alcoholism. Exacerbated means made worse.
Anyone else get shot in the head on the opposing side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Smart king.
Yes. King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. What is the expression? Went down? Anyway, Gil got out alive and his nephew Frisell got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
Okay, and by liberals you mean?
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the Ultras, or Ultra-Liberals. They fared well.
How did the liberals win it all?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
We. She's one of them. Of course.
If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to?
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Wait, you just said the liberals already took everything.
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people.
Who are the coalition?
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-le-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
Moralist.
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
The rulers of Revachol, and also the world. These guys are strong.
Thanks, physical instrument.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
If always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything, then hell yes, I am. And also not.
An almost endearingly moralist standpoint. It must be hard to take a moderate approach to head shooting in your line of work.
When was this kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Who started it?
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Marzolf came along and overthrew the government.
What did this Zarath do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
No way.
Indeed. Zarat is a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Where did it spread from there?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Marzolf's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
A pair of pants? Our lives are very different from each other.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
What is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
What happened in the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
It's been like this for how long exactly?
43 years. Hard to fathom, I know.
What have we been doing all that time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to '19 was simply hell.
And after that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Were they?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
From the looks of it, the 50s haven't been much better for the zone of control. You can see it in her eyes. Days slipping away.
You don't seem to be thrilled.
I've no right to be dissatisfied. This shirt is Barbara Muscova, this raincoat is impervious to rain and is guaranteed for 100 years. My daughters will wear it. No, it's just...
She looks at the crumbling tenements, paint flecking from the stone.
We could have had so much more. Every one of us. If only we'd played it right.
What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
No, her first.
I asked you. Who are you in all this?
And I asked you, past-less detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Medical solution. More killing. Mineral rights. I don't know what I would have done differently.
And you would have died, most likely. Not far from here. Maybe even right here, during the beachhead, defending the coast the day the Coalition took the city.
Probably.
No, almost certainly. The Commune would have forced you. Such was the fate of the undecided.
Well, it seemed like a revolution was bound to come about no matter what. Dealing with the pandemic might have been the spark. But that means there was always a fuse waiting to be lit.
That's enough about the times.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
I want to know what you are.
She hums.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
What are you?
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
Dios mío! A liberal!
I don't understand. What's so vile about that?
Haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. We surrendered the nation to financial colonists. No sane person identifies as an ultra anymore. Not in broad daylight. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, are you repulsed?
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her.
You're a monster. Really? I don't care.
You feel that she won't like the answer. Just as it's leaving your lips. Even more, it will hurt her.
A fitting punishment. To be forgotten, if not forgiven. Save a prayer for us in our chateaus on Ozon and in Stella Maris. When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Maybe I should have forgiven her, but whatever. We stay where we are.
Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
An appropriate warning to those who'd cross the line and pull the city into madness once more.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched. She loosens them.
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
You have daughters?
Well... Is it? To stand and fight, rather than let someone take over? Maybe.
You're a smart woman.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
You're a patriot.
Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
You have daughters?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Shall we return to reality?
Yeah. What is this acute encephalopathy?
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deeply in the condition of this doomed detective. In case he goes down later, souring the entire portfolio.
I know you got a lot riding on me. I won't let you down.
It's not just me, Detective. All of Martinez has placed its chips on your success. I pray we've all bet wisely.
What causes encephalopathy?
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
It's definitely the drinking.
She nods slowly.
Yes, and perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie out in the open somewhere.
God damn it, horrific necktie, you mad genius. RCM authority comes from Coalition. RCM uses unjacketed ammo and RCM Kim debrief is done. What is...
6 kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
What am I?
You? You're an officer of the RCM.
The Revachol Citizens Militia?
Preciso mundo.
Good. And what is the Revachol Citizens Militia?
Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
You said de facto.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin.
What do you mean?
The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
So I'm basically going to avoid the subject and ask the next question in this line of inquiry. Aha. Why not? I'm not really any of these things. Am I any of these things? Am I basically one of them?
So I'm basically going to avoid the subject and ask the next question in this line of inquiry.
Truly moralist of you. The coalition government would applaud you for staying out of politics. And yet, there's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it.
She leans in.
Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you.
Why?
The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you. So, permit me to conclude with this. Who you are to me is the police, the only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol.
Thank you, ma'am.
And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help.
What is this?
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
Keep guessing.
Some sort of krill hunter? No, wait. You're an ancient ruin. A symbol of hubris and decay. Half submerged in some salty sea.
Are you saying I'm ruined?
Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games.
I meant, what is this place here?
Ah. This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot.
Rue de Saint-Ghislain.
Or two.
What is Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
She looks at the crumbling facade.
This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived in them?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off. Splat, splat.
From a dilapidated building, Cindy the Skull gives Joyce the evil eye, her red paintbrush held to her throat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a soaring motion.
Wonderful.
What is that?
The girl in the old lady rags.
Yes.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture?
Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
I understand everything. Make it more complicated somehow.
I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead.
Those who try to change, to show that they're different from culture, only end up burying their own culture inside of culture. AKA hipsters.
All right. What next?
Ooh, jamais vu, thought complete.
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
What do you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
She concludes.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it, in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
What is it?
Elysium.
Elysium. The world needs a term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
What is hell?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
I don't feel like I've got the whole picture yet.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
How come?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
Inside sideways. What shape is this world then?
We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Revachol Grad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
A dark grey corona?
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
Oh my god. Wait, what the hell are you telling me?
You seem to be spooked. Please don't be.
Her voice becomes homely, calm. She lets a moment pass.
The Pale. And what do you mean, corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
A fractured corona doesn't feel like it's gonna bring anyone together.
You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Well, if you say it's disco.
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides.
What is Pale?
The Pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality. It is the opposite of reality.
Okay, but what is it? A definition.
Okay. The Pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective. The separative tissue between the islas. It is the inter-islary mass.
Wait, and what is an isola?
Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the Pale. Also, isolation, or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries, we have discovered 7. Mundi, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde.
And Insulinde is...
An oceanic isola. It comprises mostly of water. Muindi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insulinde the bluest. What can I say? Each is perishing and dear.
Okay. What is the Pale like?
Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The Pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
Is it here?
No, Detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the Isola.
As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach.
6,000 kilometers from the end of the world.
Yes. That is enough. Many cities are built much closer.
And there.
An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the Pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the Pale is called Porch Collapse. Imagine a grey coronal mist. Cold vapor marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism. A mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's the most disco thing you will ever see.
What are its physical qualities?
It's difficult to describe, or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension, right down to the mathematical. Numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible.
If we're surrounded by Pale, how do you get from Isola to Isola?
Oh, it is so difficult for us.
A squall of birds. Hardware operating in the harbor. Firm. Self-evident.
It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost, or having our minds damaged.
The Pale can damage the mind.
Extensively.
How?
Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading, that it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter.
Like the old lorry driver lady.
They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past.
Who says and who argues?
Who says? And who argues?
The logical positivists say, the dialectical materialists argue.
What does this over-irradiation feel like?
It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of Pale exposure per year.
You're not a civilian passenger.
No, nameless detective of the Citizens Militia. I am a member of the Entreprenetic Business Class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of Pale transit annually.
Perhaps that explains her strange pining after the revolution. Some degraded early memories.
Do lorry drivers pass the Pale? Pale? There?
Yes, carried in the hulls of airships. It's a horrific job. Automation will abolish it soon.
You should ask the Pale driver about this. See what she says. That poor woman must have stories to tell, like you wouldn't imagine.
Are you over-radiated?
Up to my gills, officer.
What is entreponic?
Entreprenetics is the scientific study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of Grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
They had not traveled the entire circumference of the Pericarnassian Super E-Solar. It was not merely in the west, it was everywhere, even then, surrounding them.
Did they cross it? The Western Plain?
There are signs of pre-modern crossings. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years.
What has entreponetics changed then?
Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later.
Aerostatic craft?
Hybrid airships, detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended, once you've crossed from near Pale to far Pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end, if we throw them precisely.
If we do not?
Then they don't.
Gone, like a skipping stone beneath the surface.
How much Pale is there compared to the world?
The Pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more Pale than there is matter. and the ratio is slipping.
Slipping how? To our detriment or...
What do you think, Detective?
It's growing. There is more and more of the Pale.
Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the Pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the Pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists.
Cover everything. That can't be. Where would we go?
Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same.
Off we go. You see the hanged man's mouth open.
Off we go. Into the wild Pale yonder.
One and all. They say Pale is death, but for the universe.
Why should we just leave, and the world get left behind?
Let's return to reality, please.
Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me, Detective, is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything?
I sometimes sense vague shadows of a past, and it's not good.
Then tell me, what do you think of the Pale?
Terrifying. Disco. End of life. Persist at all. Is a testament to our faith. Its advance can only be stopped with immediate, total, ruthless communism. Anti-communist force. Perhaps too powerful, but still. Say, it doesn't sound very liberal. I don't know how you've all survived with it. It's a huge compliment. Who am I to think of anything?
You were right. It's disco.
Mm-hmm.
Her eyes tense. Crow's feet radiate from them. She observes you. Your bloodshot eyes and swollen face.
You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then...
Oh, don't worry. This investigation will be my masterpiece. The one they remember me by. I promise.
I hope so. I truly do. If I may suggest, hold on to your colleague, Kitsuragi. I ran a check on him and he is very competent. In the meanwhile...
Some of that assurance is meant for herself, as much as it's meant for you. She must have a lot on the line here.
You have me. I will assist you in any way I can, even if we have to do it one basic term at a time.
She gives you a slight bow.
Nope, that's all.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
Nope. Goodbye.
Thought, but before the thought, well, that was quite a rather extensive bit of information now, wasn't it? The Pale. And perhaps the entire planet is but a disk. Only thing obstructing view of other things are the Pale. Interesting. Thought?
The 15th Indo tribe. Because there was. The 15th Indo tribe was comprised of 8 kids from Forberg and North Jamrock, running from wild dogs in the valley, hiding scents under rocks, and stealing clothes off clotheslines, and sometimes even the copper wiring of phone lines. You may have been one of them. This must be a childhood memory. The 15th Indo tribe was your Indo tribe, set to rule in Cylinder. The rest of the kids are dead now. Car accidents and drug overdoses. Only you remain.
10 cents for every green orb clicked, and learning cap for savoir faire. Raise to 6. Pretty nice. And it looks like we have a point. Let's go up Shivers. Yeah. So now whenever I click a green bubble, that means I get some money. Yay! Too bad I've pretty much clicked all the green bubbles there are to click in Martinez. At least Martinez proper. But come Wednesday, there'll be a new section to click all the bubbles with. Oh, how wonderful that will be. Now, if I'm thinking this correctly, the old lady is probably gone. Probably asleep. But we should just check anyway. Oh, no, she's here. Oh, surprising.
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune moment. This awful weather keeps me awake. You can entertain me with your questions.
Cool.
I think I know what's going on with you.
And what is that?
She sticks a filterless cigarette to a cigarette holder and reaches for the light.
You're a pail driver. You transport goods through the pail.
Oh meu Deus. The lawman solved the case.
She lights the cigarette. A white cloud of smoke disappears into her mouth.
And here I was, thinking you were an idiot. So, are you? An idiot, I mean?
Republica, a filterless cigarette from Misk.
Know what? We're gonna give ourselves a confident boost, yeah?
I'm not an idiot. I'm a detective of the RCM. Don't say I'm an idiot.
You are an idiot. And you are keeping me here, glued to this racket. Unless there was anything else?
Puts the cigarette out, stares at something in the distance. Nope. Well, that hurt my feelings. I don't know if that was very nice. Damn it, I tried to give myself a confidence boost and she's like, nah. You know what, fuck it, fine. I don't need to give myself confidence boosts. I'll just be an idiot for the rest of my life. I'm gonna go back inside and blah. Blabbity blah. Blah 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 blah. But what else can we do? Could it be quite possible? I must check my gear. Clothing. Currently, we have only a +1 from shivers from our RCM patrol cloak. Is there any other thing that could give us some shivers that won't take away from our RCM patrol cloak? Anything at all? Anything. Not a one. Just not at all. Gotcha. Okay, well. That's fine. We have some books, a map that we could use, dry maybells. Interact with these. This is the wildflower you caught. One of a bouquet of muguets that you found in the on the whirling roof. It's shredding its petals quickly in your pocket.
6 crumbling petals rest on your palm. They're white, a bell-shaped crown. Somewhere in central Jamrock, Lieutenant Kitsuragi steps into the public library. Rows of shelves pass on either side. You feel he should be here for this, for in-depth flower analysis.
Ah. Okay, fine. I guess. Looks like the Hardys are gone. Looks like everyone is gone. I probably need to pay guard.
Can I help you?
Yeah, my bill?
Got the 20 real?
Yeah.
Good. You got the room for the night, but remember, you'll need another 20 real tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. You can't hurt me anymore, God. You can't hurt me.
Police work is tough. Take breaks. Talk to strangers. Explore. Yes, quite. But, question. Clossier, can I discuss things with you? Potentially. Hopefully it's not snowing on the roof, so I'll have a better chance at this shivers technique. I shall activate my third eye. I shall let my body feel the cold, the chill of the city, crawling its way up my spine. Most checks have secret difficulty modifiers. Talking to the right person can reopen a closed white checks. Can. Not exactly will. And it has to be the right person. Yes. So much juicy information. Oh. She's not on the roof. Well then. Where the hell did she go? I have zero clue. Well then, well then, well then. Okay. It's not even in bed. Out for a cigarette? Or something to that extent? I have no idea. Well, is there anything else that I could possibly do? I think there is not. Well, there is, but there also isn't. Doof. Let's go look at the mirror. Why not? Maybe we can do things.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Ooh, it's hard. But, oh, let me get my tool then. Tools. And plop.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall.
58%.
In
That's
it,
cool.
your face. The faucet is quite terribly mangled, but you just might be able to twist its parts into place.
Yes.
You handle the chain cutters deftly, applying just enough pressure. The faucet regains a recognizable shape. The steam stops. Told you that you needed those chain cutters. Everything is connected. Everything has a purpose.
I've used them like 3 times in just one playthrough. Well, one sitting.
The mirror begins to clear slowly without you having to wipe it.
Still a very low chance, mate. Let's see. Maybe I'll dig deep.
Like the rest
Ow.
of you, it comes from a bad place somewhere in the past. That's all you know for now.
3% chance. Why not?
Still not happening. It won't come off that easy.
Yeah. Well, you know what is gonna come off that easy? Shivers. Yeah. With only a possible maximum of 2 for electrochemistry. I mean, we could bump it up with clothing and shit, which I probably should have done. I have at least some things, yeah? Got 1, yeah? 2 things with electrochemistry. Technically 3, but those are both pants. So 2 things with electrochemistry probably wouldn't have amounted to shit, but you know, it's a thing. I think I could dick around and just do this, but well, actually, no, that's not really what I meant. Do this, but why not save that just for another episode? Before going to sleep, might as well utilize the time I have until later in order to do shit. So, why not? Until then, that would be this episode. And tomorrow, we'll do many things. Well, not tomorrow, but the next episode. Tomorrow, whatever. Bye.